Bobby Digital, he was an icon. You know, he was big. He was larger than life in the Jamaican dancehall platform, you know. And yeah, Jamaica's taken a great loss. Just like gone on YouTube, figure you bring some new food. Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. That's how you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. I woke up this morning to learn that the iconic engineer Bobby Digital has passed away. Actually, I heard he passed away on Friday. Today's Sunday, so the news has gotten to me a little too late. I want to say rest in peace Bobby Digital, and I want to send condolences to Bobby Digital's personal family. As a surprise to most of you, I'm familiar with the name and the person Bobby Digital more than most of you would imagine or understand, and for that reason I decided to do a vlog today. Not so much on Bobby Digital, but his passing actually resurrected a memory and his personal situation with me, and I decided to create a little story time surrounding Bobby Digital and what I know of Bobby Digital and any effect that his life has on me. So to update most of you real quick, today I'm an established published author, but prior to becoming an author, I actually ambitioned myself, believe it or not, in Jamaica to be a dancehall artist, and I was pretty much on my way to becoming a dancehall artist before I migrated to the United States of America. So while I'm at it, shout out to my youthful opponent and successful DJ, dancehall artist, Beenie Man, big up yourself. So yes, Beenie Man was actually my opponent when I was a child, ambitioning myself to becoming a dancehall artist. I actually represented Marvelly while Beenie Man represented Waterhouse. So we were only parted by the Washington Boulevard, and many a times Beenie Man and I share stage, especially in Pembroke Hall. Back then we used to have weekend clashes with sounds like Love Vibration and Exodus, and many a night, many a Friday, I actually walked away with the prize, which pretty much was a couple $100 at the time. As children, that was a lot of money for us. So I was well on my way to becoming a dancehall artist before Beenie Man was established as a dancehall artist. While giving shout out to Beenie Man, I have to give shout out to other youthful dancehall artists at the time, such as Rista Benji, rest in peace Rista Benji, and my other Marvelly, what I would say, DJ brother, Iron Man, back in the day named himself as Pony Man. So between myself and Iron Man, we represented Marvelly, in particularly Bottom Marvelly, and Beenie Man and Rista Benji represented Waterhouse. And back then it was fun. All four of us was actually on our way to becoming dancehall artists of the future, behind the likes of Shower Ranking, Ninja Man, and yeah, so we were on our way to becoming the next generation of dancehall artists. And in ambitioning ourselves to being dancehall artists in the Kingston 20 area, there were only really 2 studios that offers children opportunity to record, and those studios included Black Scorpio with Jack Scorpio from Drew's Land on Edley Avenue, and then the next studio that allowed children such as myself to become dancehall artists was King Jammy's himself. So big up yourself, King Jammy, world-renowned Jamaica iconic producer, King Jammy. Back then, King Jammy was initially Prince Jammy, and this is how I got acquainted with Jammy Studio. So when it was Prince Jammy, so back then when he was Prince Jammy, Jammys used to allow audition for non-established artists on Thursdays and Saturdays. And every Thursday and every Saturday, people like myself would be waiting at King Jammy's, Prince Jammy's door at the time, St. Lucia Avenue. And Bobby Digital was actually the one and only engineer that Jammy had at the time. So it was Bobby Digital that worked alongside King Jammy, and they would produce people such as Admiral Bailey, Little Twitch, just a roster of people, you know. So even though it was difficult to get inside the studio gates, if I didn't audition that particular day, it was still rewarding just to see the likes of all these celebrities at the time showing up, you know. Shout out to people like Don Angelo. You know, Dan Angelo was a great Jammy singer. You know, there was Little Twitch, there was Pompidou, there was Tulla T. There was just a whole lot of people at the time that, to me as a child, were seen as stars and just had me in awe, and I just wanted to be like them or wanted to be among that crowd. It was difficult to get inside of the studio on Thursdays and Saturdays for the simple fact that you used to have foreigners from the likes of the US, Canada and England who would come to the studio, and they would want dub plate made by these artists. And the dub plate was actually the money, so you'll understand that those artists and those customers were put before the people that were there for audition. So some Saturdays and some Thursdays we just didn't get to audition at all. But King Jammy, again, Prince Jammy. This is how the name King Jammy came about, in my opinion. Whatever Prince Jammy was doing at the time was a good thing, and he is and was an ambitious studio director, musician that had dreams for the ghetto kids. And I think it got way bigger than he expected, and Prince Jammy was under so much of a demand that Prince Jammy rightfully had to change the name from Prince Jammy to King Jammy. And it was King Jammy Studio because it was larger than life. It was larger than Kingston. It was the biggest thing. I mean, King Jammy Studio would be like, what's that studio in America? Not Sony, but the one that did for all the black artists in the time. I'll try to remember that name. But King Jammy Studio was the biggest thing in Jamaica at the time. And if you could get produced on a King Jammy label, you were on the road to success. Now, Bobby Digital, being the only other engineer working alongside Jammy, like I say, Jammy workflow got overloaded. So Jammy had to bring in another engineer by the name of Squinjin. Rest in peace, Squinjin, and big respect. And it is because of Squinjin, believe it or not, why I'm actually doing this video, because this is where I came in, and this is where my chance to fame came in with Squinjin. The workflow for Bobby Digital and Jammies was getting so much to the point where even Bobby Digital had to have his own label, Digital B label. So, you know, if you couldn't make it to the Jammies label and you made it to the Digital B label, it was a good substitution of Jammies label. However, I wanted to get on Jammies label, so I continued Thursdays and Saturdays to show up at the studio gate. But I would say Bobby Digital, you know, he was more familiar with the established artists, so he catered more to the established artists. I don't know if that's the workload that Jammy gave them to say, well, Bobby, you take care of the established artists, and Squinjin, you can take care of the newcomer and find the next star. I don't know how it went or how was that said, but what I could say is that Squinjin, rest in peace again, Squinjin was the one that catered to me. And Squinjin says, I'm gonna record you, kid. You know, I'm gonna bust you. You know, just keep coming, don't give up. I see you here every Thursday and every Saturday, and I'm gonna make that payoff for you. So you can just imagine how hopeful I was to become a dancehall artist. And there was one day that I went to the studio and Squinjin called me to the side and says, today's your day. I'm gonna record you today. If it's the last thing that I do, kid, I'm gonna record you today. So don't leave, just hang around. And I hung around the studio from about 9 a.m. till about 11 p.m. at night. And I'm way down in Waterhouse, St. Lucia Avenue, 11 o'clock at night. And Skin Jim kept his word and says, come, we're going in the studio. You know, even reminiscing on it right now, it just gave me goosebumps to know that I did finally put my foot in Jammy studio. And that night, I remember I recorded a song called Come Check My Lover. And it was a glorious thing. You know, I had the headphones on, and it was weird because it was the first time I was actually hearing myself back through the earphone, and I didn't know if I was on the rhythm the right way, because at dancehall I used to chat by hearing the rhythm in the open space, but now I'm in studio, I was listening it through this. So in order to be on the rhythm properly, I remember I had to take one of the earphone, kind of tilt it to the side just to hear what's going on out there. And we recorded that night, you know. I recorded that night, you know, there was a few takes, and it was just crazy to hear myself back. It was actually on the rhythm. I don't remember the name of the rhythm, but it was the same rhythm that Johnny Osbourne had did the song Buddy Bye, Buddy Bye, Buddy Bye, Buddy Bye, Buddy Bye #1. That rhythm. And, you know, it was just crazy because that song was hot at the time, and that rhythm was hot at the time, you know, because for most of you who don't know, it was Jammy Studio that came out first with digital rhythm in Jamaica, and that was one of their digital rhythm. I think it was the one that followed the Slim Thing rhythm. So that rhythm right there, the one, the Buddy Bye rhythm was the one that I recorded on. And Skin Jim kind of told me that, yeah, come back next week, we're going to mix this, we're going to add some echoes to it, and there's some little special effects to it, and you'll have your first record. People, I was happy as a lark. I finally recorded in the biggest and best studio of Jamaica, King Jammy studio. I was gonna be on the blue and white label with the big J that looped around, Jammy studio. And I went away, went home, and I waited patiently to go back the next week. And the next week never happened, people. Skin Jim died. He was gunned down before I could go back to the studio. It was all over the news. Skin Jim was dead. And along with Skin Jim passing, so did my opportunity of becoming a dancehall artist, because yeah, nothing ever came of it. I didn't go back to the studio. Like I said, the studio was always too crowded anyway to even get through the people like Bobby Digital or King Jammy used to say I was recorded, so check this reel, or check this or check that, you know. So once again, RIP to Bobby Digital. But the passing of Bobby Digital kind of brought back the passing of Skin Jim to me, and how it affected me as a child, and how it in turn changed my whole life, because after Skin Jim passing, I literally abandoned dancehall, and it was about a year or a few months after that that I migrated to the United States of America. And when I went to America, I just focused mainly on books. Oh, Motown studio I was trying to remember in the US. Jammy's was like the Motown of Jamaica. It released the best of the best. And while I'm saying that, let me give a shout out to King Tubby Studio, because I did do an audition at King Tubby Studio once. Again, I didn't pass the audition. They said I was DJing too fast and I was off the rhythm. But I think, you know, as a child, that was probably nerves. So again, respect and appreciation to Skin Jim, who had the patience to coach me, to tell me you can do this, calm down, etc., etc., and finally recorded me. I decided to do this video again because, I was telling my wife the backstory that linked to Bobby Digital, King Jammy and King Jammy, and she just asked me, I wonder if they still have your recording on file. And I was saying, who knows? You never know. And considering that I'm in plans of producing a documentary and a biopic one day, my wife was saying that file, if it still existed, could be a great addition to your documentary or to your file or to your film, because it would echo so much truth of what you're saying. And I say, yeah, why not? So here I am doing this vlog. I don't feel like going through the hoops and the loops of getting in touch with people like King Jammy, because it's not as easy to get in touch with those people. But I decided if I put it on my channel, you never know. Somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows King Jammy might be watching or might get a whiff of this vlog, and they might get in touch with me, and then I can give them more information. And who knows, we could search through the archives, and it would be a beautiful thing, people, if indeed I should come across my recording in Jammy studio in the 80s. Anyway, people, that's pretty much it. What I say, RIP, once again, I can't say it enough. Bobby Digital, he was an icon. He was big. He was larger than life in the Jamaican dancehall platform, and yeah, Jamaica's taken a great loss with the passing of Bobby Digital, the icon of engineering to producing dancehall music. So yeah, blessings to Bobby Digital family, kids and grandkids and extended relatives. And shout out to King Jammy, who might not recall who I am. I've converted my image and myself so much over the years that I'm almost unidentified to a lot of people. But big up yourself, being a man. Big up yourself, Iron Man. And big up to all of my 1980s dancehall followers and fans from the Kingston 20 area. Anyway, people, let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if you have any linkage or any references or contacts who can contact Jammy's or Jammy Studio. So I guess for the first time, I'm gonna ask you guys on my channel to share this video as much as you possibly can until it gets into the right hands, and maybe I could actually acquire that recording of myself if it still exists. If it does exist and I should ever acquire it, believe it or not, I will be posting it here so you guys can hear what I sound like back then as a child. Anyway, people, as you know on this channel, I appreciate thumbs up, thumbs down, agreement and disagreement, because at the end of the day, people, each one teach one. You've reached the end of my video, and that in itself is a support that I truly appreciate. And while I'm at it, I will take this time out to let you guys know other ways that you can support my channel. The first and simplest way that you can support my channel is by giving this video a thumbs up. And the second and most important way that you can support this channel is by hitting that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel and follow me through my YouTube journey. Other ways that you can support my channel is by going to my Teespring online store and buying some of my merch. And another way that you guys can also support this channel is by joining me in Patreon to give me a contribution to support what I do on YouTube and what I do to entertain you guys. Once again, I want to thank you guys for your continuous support and ask that you join me, Ian T. Sebastian, on YouTube and see where my journey takes me. Until next time, people, peace.